In verse 10, in this is love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son to be the propitiation for our sins. He says, here's the real story on love. It's not that you and I chose to go and be a Christian. It's not that you and I chose to go to church. It's that Christ came to us. He says, here's the thing. While we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. That while we were driving nails into his hands, he said, I'm going to die for you because I love you. This is the demonstration of love. Friends, you and I can't think for a second that we brought anything to this party. If we think that we did, then we've missed what he's done. If we think that we did, then we've missed what he's done. And that is not biblical love. That's pride. We start with a supernatural infilling of his love, and then we share it with one another. And we recognize the whole time that this is the gift of grace. This is the gift of our God through the broken body and spilt blood of our King Jesus. 2 Corinthians 5:21 puts all of this into perspective when you see that God made him who knew no sin to be sin on our behalf, that we might become the righteousness of God. That is the portrait of love that you and I have been given, and said, put this on the family mantle, because this is the family that you are now a part of. Beloved, again, agapetos. Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought to love one another. Here's where the ought is taught. Here's where the ought is taught. Beloved, if God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. Do you hear the imperative tone? Since he, then we. Since he loved us this selflessly, then we are to love one another selflessly. You see, to be like Christ is to love like Christ. Here again, John, I want you to see, is defining and defending the church. This is at the core of what it is to be a Christian. This is what it is to be at the core of being the church. You see, friends, the church is koinonia. Technically, it's ecclesia. But to be ecclesia, you must be in koinonia. For there to be an ecclesia, there must be koinonia. If there is true koinonia, it can only be in the context of ecclesia. You cannot pull these two apart. If you say we have ecclesia, we have church, but we don't have supernatural love, you're a liar or you're deceived. You say, who's he doing? I'm just reading 1 John. Okay, he's told us this over and over and over again. He says, watch out, those worldly, they're darkness, they're liars, they're antichrist, they're children of the devil, they're false spirits. He says, if you are truly ecclesia, then you will truly be in koinonia. And if you truly have koinonia, then good news, you're truly ecclesia. You cannot pull these two apart. Please see, to marginalize or to minimize the role or the responsibility or the redeeming attribute of koinonia, the church's supernatural love and unity, is to marginalize and to redefine the very love of God, which koinonia champions through Christ and his church.